my apartment. This was before I moved in, but some homeless native was like sleeping on the couch. So they left the door open, unlocked,
Oh, in your
and since it
place.
gets yeah, so since it gets really cold, so the guy just like came in
Yeah.
drunk and then was sleeping on the couch, and they woke him up in the morning, so like get out of here.
Mm.
And he like walked over to the sink and then got water first, and then left.
Oh, that's. Do they like? Did what do they do about it? Do they have some kind of shelters where they can go, or?
Yeah, it's all the way on the east side of town. And the town's kind of spread out for like how small it is. Well, I mean, it's not huge, but um, like it's not near downtown, which I think is kind of weird.
Mm.
So I don't know, the ones that like hang out downtown and pedal for money, um, like they can't really make it over there in time by the time like the place closes up.
Mm. So how
And
long
the
have
buses
you
stop running.
known about like MBTI stuff?
I was first talked about it by my brother. He's a ENTJ. He's a surgeon. He's a pretty smart guy.
Mm.
Um, I don't know how. I guess I don't know. At least 5 years ago. It was a long time ago. I just didn't pay attention to it much. Um,
Yeah.
and I looked into it. I thought I was an INTP.
Yeah, I think
But
that's very common for both the ENTPs and ENFPs to think that they're the I.
yeah,
Or did you think that you were more introverted or?
yeah, I definitely think I'm more introverted ENTP. Like I'm definitely not Eric status.
Mm.
He's pretty out there. But yeah, I'm pretty convinced that I'm an ENTP now. As far as like
Yeah,
my
it's
essay
good when you
or
learn about the functions and stuff. Like, because I always, when I did the tests and stuff, I would always get ENFP. Um, I got ENTP at some time as well, but I definitely relate more to the NF temperament. But then I
yeah,
would think like, oh, but I must be an INFP because I'm not that extroverted. But then I just know that,
right.
like knowing about the functions and stuff, it just makes much more sense that I lead with NE and not with FI.
Yeah, yeah. My buddy, he's an ENFP, I think, but he likes to think he's an INFP, but this doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of ENFPs think that they're INFPs first. And
Seems like
actually,
ENFP.
I have some INFP friends that in certain situations they could even seem more extroverted because they can be quite assertive sometimes because they're sort of dominant judgers, even though they're introverted judgers. And just I think it's more
Yeah,
about that they will choose the times where they go out and socialize, and then the rest of the time they'll just choose to be at home. Whereas I'm always like saying yes to things and going out, and then I get tired of.
yeah,
Then afterwards I'm like, oh, I need my own time now. But it's like I just explore. I don't decide first. Like I'll explore first, and then I'll be like, oh, what am I even doing here?
yeah. I'm the same way with that. I need both ultimately. Like, I can't
Yeah.
do either one for a long time.
Yeah, because if I'm really interested in a subject or something, I can totally sit and read stuff and do research and stuff for ages and really concentrate. If I'm really passionate about something, it's
Yeah,
more like the boring stuff that I have to do. That's when I'm not good at that at all. But I do like sitting in cafes and work, for example, or just being in a place where like in a city or something where I can watch people or like feel that there's stuff happening around me, but I'll still be in my own world, reading or doing research or something.
yeah. I totally agree with that. That's why I go to Denny's or something to work on stuff or a bar, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I get really frustrated if I have to work from home, which I have to do now for these things, then I procrastinate.
I mean, I'm doing the same thing. It also has to do with the mess that's around me. Like I haven't cleaned up in a long time.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. Like I think just because I have these jobs ahead of me, I'm like, I'm not going to clean now because I'm going to mess it up anyway because I'm going to paint. But then
Yeah.
it's like I don't get inspired to work if it's like a mess. So I probably should. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, right. I definitely work better when everything's straightened up, though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's usually like I'll postpone it for a while and then right before working, I'll start cleaning. That's when you know that I'm really close to a deadline, when I'll start cleaning the whole place. And
Yeah.
then I'll do it last minute and I'll hyper focus on it. Yeah, I've got better at the cleaning thing though, for that reason, because it feels like my brain just works better, more efficiently when it's clean around me. So
Yeah. I mean, after I do a good cleaning, like I'll keep it clean for a while. Just like throw stuff away and put stuff in the right place when I need to, like, right after I do it.
yeah,
And then I
that's
just get,
that's the key, I think. Like right after you do something, you have to put it back. That's the thing. Otherwise, it starts building
yeah,
up.
I hate that.
Yeah, I can usually like keep that for a while, but then once I start, throwing things around, then it's like one day and this like fucking mess again. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that just adds up. 'Cause once I already have a little mess, I'm like, well, a little bit more mess will be okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like you have to stick to that first thing that clean up right after.
Yeah. But it seems like ENFPs make more meaning out of things, or at least they verbally speak that more, make it known
Yeah,
to people.
I probably see meaning in everything. I'm always like
Yeah.
analyzing everything for meaning. But the ENTP, they analyze things a lot too, though.
Yeah, I think the meaning is like I think we both look for meaning, but I think it's different in some way.
Yeah, I think the NF temperament normally seeks some sort of deeper meaning, almost like not spiritual. I don't know if that's the word, but
You could probably use that.
yeah, it always sounds like I don't know too much when I use that word, but
It sounds esoteric of some sort.
yeah, I don't know. Um, but I guess all intuitives are sort of trying to make sense of things and enjoying, because that's the thing I do. I just enjoy and asking questions and looking at things from as many angles as possible.
Yeah.
Just looking at things from different angles and then looking at them again and
So
again.
what does ENFP has what seven?
What's that? ENFP?
Had the TI seventh? Is that what they got?
Oh yeah, TI polar, yeah.
What's that like?
I think I was reading about that because I couldn't really identify with that because I feel like I'm more polar in the sensory, the I mean SI is my inferior function, so that kind of makes sense, but that's a bit
Uh-huh.
difficult.
You're talking about
Um,
SE?
yeah, even SC. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the functions that I feel like I'm furthest away from are the sensory functions in a way. So in the beginning, I was like, oh, TI polar doesn't really make sense. But then I do think that if I end up in a stressful situation and I have to be logical, then I get clumsy using TI. It's the kind of thing that I need a bit more. If I'm very passionate about something or very interested in something or making sense of something, then I can go deeply into understanding a system.
Yeah.
But I'll have to. I'll need more time for it. Takes a bit
It
more
seems
time
like
and effort.
yeah, it seems like TI would be easier to um like
Get to
get
the
a
FI.
get a grasp on if it's in your seventh and FI. I think just
Yeah,
FI is hard to get at if you don't have it.
because even for me, like I have FI in second, and I still think FI is a difficult function because it's so it's kind of, I don't know if abstract is not really the word, but visceral or something. It's, it's difficult to grasp it because it's emotions. You feel it. It's almost like a physical function.
Yeah, so
I mean,
Eric and I
what?
were talking about the other day, and I can't help but think that there's something more to it than just the physical bit. But I don't
Mm,
know. If I can remember heartbreak or I don't know, someone backstabbing me, like a
yeah,
backbiter, something like that. I can remember that feeling and recall it, and it won't be
yeah,
as intimate or real now, but it'll still be pretty close. Whereas
yeah,
if I'm trying to remember somebody punching me in the face, that's really difficult to do, and I can't do that.
yeah. Well, that's the same for me. But I think as an FI user, you're just even stronger at that. You can recall, because a punch in the face, that's purely physical almost. But like any
Yeah,
kind
right.
of emotional abuse or a heartbreak or somebody saying something to you with a certain tone, those kind of things, you get really good at distinguishing them from each other as an FI user, I think. You, I don't know. But I mean, wouldn't you be able to do that too, though?
Yeah, it's like that's what like I think an emotion has a deeper metaphysical content to it rather than like the physical getting punched in the face, which is purely physical.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that is tricky to answer. But I'm just thinking, as the typical thing I see in a lot of FI users that they are good at and that they do is that they can really put themselves in another person's shoes. Like I can look at another person and see their expression or listen to the tone of their voice, and I can really, imagine that that was me, and how would I feel if I were in their situation. And if I want to pinpoint that specific feeling even more, I'll ask them questions like, how did you feel, what did it make you feel, and so on. And then I'll get a very clear picture of how they are feeling. and
Uh-huh.
and in that way I can sort of support them and be there for them, not necessarily in a motherly way, but more like a friend who is more like, yeah, I know what that feels like. You know,
Yeah.
like that's something that I can see that FI users are very, very good at, kind of aligning with people on a very deep emotional level.
Yeah. And that interested me when I first like recognized that. Like FI is capable of empathy, like even to a greater
Yeah,
extent than FE is. Like I don't know if FE even deals with that.
yeah. I was reading something that FI is empathy and FE is sympathy, or is it the other way around?
It was like
No.
perception or something. Like you just want to manipulate them basically.
Yeah, I guess FE is more, for the greater good and seeing the whole group. And it's operating much more in the now as well, being an extroverted function, because you're sort of aware of the people right now and how can I manipulate the situation right now for the greater good.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense. I
they're
guess it would be
very
as
other focused,
character.
though, I find FE users.
Or-
Are you still there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like just going off what you said, it would seem like man, what was I gonna say? Like FE would be worse at developing like an understanding of a person's character over like a
Yeah,
longer period of time rather than that moment. Like it
yeah,
would be good at that moment maybe, but it would be bad at like I understand
yeah.
this person as a character. Yeah.
Yeah, because FI is so much more about the individual and going deep into what the individual is. Um, and FE is much more general and the group and the
Yeah.
now. What's best for the group now? They don't, wouldn't waste time on going into details about one person. Whereas as an FI user, I really like um, speaking to a person like on a one to one level and really, get a deep understanding of where they're coming from. That sort of thing.
Is it
But I think
do you
I
do
think
that out
there.
of like do you do that out of like interest just to know,
Yeah.
or do you do that for some other reason too?
No,